How you doing today, folks? So I've been doing a series of videos lately about the EDC sickness, right? And it's not necessarily truly about being sick. That's kind of the whole point. Like it's something that we love and brings us happiness and brings us joy. To the outside world, it seems like we're probably sick. So it's more of an inside joke. But this is going to be more about the origins of that. And if you have an interesting origin story you just want to share, by all means, please comment below. I would love to hear it. Before we get started, please like and subscribe to the video. It definitely helps me out a great deal. So, when I was 8 years old, I went to a gas station, right? And there was this bright, like I think it was a bright red switchblade, and I saw it there. There was maybe like 10 of them, right? I grew up in Pittsburgh, California. I also grew up in Oakland, California, and Brentwood, California, and a bunch of other different places, right? I moved around a lot. But this one story is in Pittsburgh, California. There was this bright red switchblade, and there was maybe, again, like 10 of them, all different colors, but only that one red one. And over the period of weeks, it went from being 10 to 9 to 8 to 7 to 6 to 5 to 4 to 3 to 2 to 1. And I wanted that. And I tried buying it almost immediately, and the clerk said no. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to save up everything I have, and I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse. This is right around the time the movie Goodfellas came out, and I don't know, I was a little bit inspired by that. Anyways, so I saved up my allowance. I think I had like maybe like $30 after a couple of weeks, right? And I go to that store, and that bright red switchblade is still there. So I go, hi, hey sir, I know I'm not old enough to buy this, but I really, really want it. And if I give you more than it's worth, will you sell it to me? And I showed him the money, and he looked at me, looked at the item, kind of gave me this weird look, and eventually just kind of pushed the money away and said, no, we can't do it. So I thought about it, and I remember sitting there, or excuse me, standing there for about a minute and a half just looking at him. Probably seemed very weird. And then I threw the money kind of down the conveyor belt so he would look at it, and then I grabbed the switchblade and I took off. Which, again, that's it's technically buying it, but it's under thievery circumstances, so I'm not really sure what to call that. But anyways, I got this piece that I loved and wanted so, so much, right? So I unboxed it and I flicked it open a whole bunch of times. And I'm just a dumb kid. I don't know quality or anything like that. So to me, this thing is the absolute be all end all, joy. Later on in life, I watched a movie called A Christmas Story with a Red Ryder BB gun. Picture that movie, but with a knife, and that's really genuinely how I was. I was just through the absolute roof. So I had it for about 4 days, and one day I brought it home, or one day I came home, and I used to always carry it in my pocket. But as soon as I got home, I would pull it out so where you couldn't see the clip, then I would just drop it in and kind of like float carry it. Well, this one day I was out playing a little bit too much and out there doing too much dumb stuff, and I forgot to put it in my pocket. I forgot to fully just kind of float carry it. So my dad saw the clip and goes, "Hey son, what is that?" And I denied it and I just kind of was like, "Oh, nothing," and just kind of took off into my room. And I tried to stash it, and as I was trying to stash it, my dad opened the door and he saw me shoving something underneath a pillow. And he's like, "Boy, stop right there. Like, I'm not going to ask you one more time, what is that? Give it to me now." So, me being the stupid kid that I did, again, nothing dad, nothing dad. So he moved me out of the way, and then he reached underneath the pillow and he pulled out my bright red switchblade. And he asked me, "What is this?" And my father is not somebody you would lie to. Even if you wanted to, I don't think it's really capable to lie to my dad. He's a presence. So I told him what it was. I told him where I got it, and I told him that the guy didn't want to sell it to me. It's not his fault. Don't be mad at him. I took it, and then I also told him that, I gave him money. He didn't accept it, but I gave him money. And so he beat my ass as fathers did back then, and then he put me on timeout for a long time. I was grounded for about a month and a half. And the day I got off of being on restriction, he handed me a knife. And this is kind of the key point to this whole story. He handed me his knife. He handed me this old Buck 110. I don't remember what wood it is. I think it's ebony, if I remember correctly, but it's an old Buck 110, right? A little bit of patina on the actual blade. It's been sharpened a whole bunch of times. You know, there are some chips in the wood. Like but still, it was his. And I remember looking at it and seeing those patinaed brass bolsters that are cloudy, like almost like a cloudy orange color because, you know, it's been used so much. I remember thinking it was junk. And I was like, I don't want that. And he's like, no, you're going to take it. And he gave it to me. And then he told me the story about it. And he told me what it means to him and, you know, the quality of having a good knife, what good steel is, what making models and materials are. And I understood, and I could see how sincere he was, because again, my dad's somebody that you listen to. So I listened to him, I heard what he said, I believed him, and that became my knife. And he taught me how to skin game with that knife, and how to hunt and build some traps and do a whole bunch of different stuff, right? And I had that knife for a long time, and I just had that one knife, and I used that knife, and I beat the hell out of it. Sometimes I carried it, didn't use it at all. Sometimes I did stupid things that only a small child would do. But I had that knife for a long time. Now, when I turned 19, I was partying with a buddy of mine named Michael. I'm not going to mention his last name. And we decided to buy some shrooms. And we bought some shrooms from this guy named Danger in Lodi, California, right? And Danger is a pretty ironic name because this guy was like 5'2" and couldn't hurt anybody if he tried. So Danger, very kind of ironic, inappropriate name, but anyways, so we bought some shrooms. I think it was like 2.5 ounces, right? Which, you know, you buy 2 ounces of weed or whatever, it's not that much. You buy 2.5 ounces of shrooms, it's in a bag like this. It's huge. And I shoved it in my jacket pocket with the majority of it probably sticking out. And then me and Danger and my friend Michael all drove around in his truck. We ended up parking outside of a Wells Fargo in Stockton, California. And we hung out and we smoked, we talked shit, and we, you know, told stories like stupid kids do. And because we were parked in front of this bank, a security guard came out and asked what we're doing. It's basically like, hey man, fuck you, like you don't get out of here, you don't matter. So said security guard called the cops. The police came, asked us what we were doing. All of our bravado disappeared, and we're like, what? And the cops could tell that we were high and that we were being stupid. So they searched all of us. They searched my buddy Danger, and they found a pretty massive jar of weed, but he had a cannabis card for it, so it wasn't really a problem. They searched my buddy Michael, and they found like some rolled up roaches. Not really a problem. And they searched me. And I think they searched me last because you could see this massive bag just hanging out of my pocket. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. But they searched me, and they kind of gave me a half-assed search. They started from the bottom and then went all the way up to the top and went directly like bypassed this gigantic bulge, right? And I'm like, oh, they're not going to find it, you know, just again being a stupid kid. And the cop at the end, like, oh yeah, here's this, and then reached in and pulled out this gigantic bag of shrooms, and attached to that bag of shrooms, my Buck 110 had kind of blended into it somehow, so to speak. And when he picked it up out of my pocket, the knife hit the ground. The cop goes, oh, what's this? And then picks up the knife. Now, mind you, if you are going to carry large quantities of drugs, you should never carry any type of weapon on you, even if it's a knife. But I did. I wasn't thinking about it at all. And again, this wasn't really to like sell or anything like that. We were just going to eat shrooms and party and probably burn our brains out, but this is what happened. Now, the cop took the shrooms, as you would imagine, though he did not arrest me. He did not arrest any of us. He asked what we were doing. After some, you know, bullshit stories for a little bit, finally we told the truth. The cop's like, all right, well, you know, I was young at one point too, and I understand, but I can't let you have this. And I remember being devastated, right? I didn't even care about the knife, but I was so mad about the shrooms. And the cop held my Buck 110, and he also held this massive bag of shrooms. and he said, "I want you to get out of here now. Don't come around. Don't let me see you. Like, do something better with your life." And so we took off. And I didn't even think about my knife for about a couple of days, right? And I thought about, oh shit, I went to cut something and I didn't have my buck 110. And I was mad. I was really mad. But I didn't really understand the depth of what I had done until years later, right? Probably 24 or 25. Mind you, I'm 31 now, so this has been a decent amount of time. And I was just thinking about it, and I was like, you know what? I want a new knife. And so I saved up a couple paychecks, and I bought a Sebenza. And the Sebenza was supposed to go to my father, who at that point in time we were very estranged from. We weren't really talking at all. So I bought the Sebenza, and I tried to give it to him, and he didn't want it. He just told me no, like, just get out of here. You're a bad influence. I don't want to deal with you. And he was right. I'm not going to talk about it so much in this video, but I was a knucklehead. I did a lot of stupid things, hurt a lot of people, did a lot of dumb things. Those of you who recognize my tattoos or anything like that, you have an idea. I was an idiot. So I tried contacting Chris Reeve, and I asked if I could return it. And he said, yes, but just give it a couple of days, use it and just kind of try to get the feel out of it and see if you really want to return it. Because Chris Reeves is a smart man, and he understood that he made a good knife. So I used it, I opened it, played with it, cut a couple things with it. And I was like, sure, Mr. Reeves, I'm going to keep this. And he goes, okay. I had that Sebenza for quite a while. Used it, abused it, and beat it up. Sold it for pretty small amount. I think it was maybe $200 or whatever. Somebody made me an offer, and I was thinking in my head, this knife's been through hell. I've used and abused this thing. It's all beat up. $200, hell yeah. So I sold it, and that was kind of my journey from there, right? I was always trying to find a knife that was not necessarily better than that, but it was different. That was fun, and subconsciously, I always kind of was trying to recreate that magic with the buck 110. And I even went out and bought a buck 110, but it was never the same. I remember getting that knife in the mail. I actually bought that knife from Cabela's. But I went in there, I asked for a buck 110. I mentioned I wanted a wood handle, and the guy handed me a box, and I didn't even open it. I just walked out the store, and then I bought it. I walked up the counter, I bought it, and I took off. And I got home, and I was so excited about it, and I opened it up, and I just started breaking down. It wasn't my father's knife. It was brand new and shiny, and the wood's gorgeous, and everything's all nice and sparkly, and it wasn't it. I gave that knife to a friend of mine. I think his name was was either Chuck or Charlie. We're not friends anymore, but at the time we were. And then I started collecting. And I say I started collecting because I kept grabbing stuff that I didn't really need. I didn't really use it. It seemed like, oh, this is what I need. This is what I need. This is what I need. And I would get it, I'd open it, and it wouldn't be the same, and then I would go on to something else. And little by little, I began to understand a good knife, a bad knife, a great knife, custom knives, everything else between the lines. Till eventually I'm getting to this point right here. And for me, this whole community, why I love you guys so much is because you guys will forever be a part of me. When I see these knives, I don't think of them as tools or art or functional art or just any number of things, right? I think of them as everything. I also think of them as a genuine part of my past, my childhood, my life, my past, my present, my future. They actually really mean something to me. Maybe that's weird. Maybe this is something that I'm going to post this video out and no one's going to feel the same. I'm going to be just a laughing stock. But if that's the case, so be it. But I genuinely and truly, I love knives. Cutlery makes me happy. Holding these stuff makes me happy. Looking at the makes and models and finishes and seeing different mechanisms and opening stuff and closing it and just experiencing it. Big, hefty, massive folders. I don't know what massive is. Massive folders. Different mechanisms, everything else. They mean the absolute world to me, and they somehow bring me happy. But again, they're not that old Buck 110, and nothing ever will be. And that's something that over time I've just come to realize that this is a mistake I made when I was younger. I regret it. I should regret it. I regret a lot of things about my past, but we just move on. And for me, I don't think I'm so much of a collector. I think I'm a mixture between a user and an enthusiast because I use my knives. Everything I have, I use, and I am incredibly and genuinely enthusiastic about them all. And if one of these sells and I grab something else, it doesn't matter what it is, I'm going to be enthusiastically waiting for that mailman. I'm going to be enthusiastically cutting it in chest and geometry. I'm going to be enthusiastically carrying it, and I'm probably going to enthusiastically be bored in about 10 days. There's a few that stick around. These are all decently old, but just kind of is what it is. That's when I say the whole EDC sickness. That's what I mean. Nobody in their right mind would love these things the way we love them or the way I love them. So that is my story. We are 60 minutes into the video. So again, if you liked what you heard, please like, subscribe to the video. And more importantly, please comment and let me know your story. I recorded something a while back on Christmas called Knife Miss, where I basically told everybody to tell me about their hardships, why you can't afford a good knife and everything else. And I meant well with it. I really tried to get stuff out to people that really needed it. But I remember it making me really, really sad, right? Because I actually genuinely care about all of you. So to hear about your hardships and your trials and tribulations, man, that shit broke my heart. So right about now, with this whole COVID-19 thing going on and the viruses and the world acting just stupid, do me a favor and tell me your story. Something that makes you happy, something that is genuinely meaningful to you. What was your first knife? Who gave it to you? Did you buy it yourself? How long did you have it? Do you still have it? Just use my story as kind of like a guideline. Be as detailed or as vague as you want to. It's fully up to you. But I just want to talk to you guys. So as always, I love you all very, very much. And, do me just as one personal favor and do the best you can to be a better person tomorrow than you are today. And I do promise you'll find your center in life. And I really do mean that. If you constantly try to strive and to be better, eventually you'll get there. You're going to fail over and over and over again. You're going to make the most insignificant steps ever, but they will be steps and they will mean something. So that's going to be it, folks. I love you all, as always, and take care. Hopefully you enjoyed the story, and I would love to hear yours. Bye.